Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to the hottest show in all the globe, the Welch Report, with me, yo, Jean-Luc, what you make some noise, yes indeed, clap it up, get excited wherever you are. We are back with another action-packed show for you today, covering the world of boxing, sports, and beyond. Oh, we got so much to cover on this show. We got fights up and coming that have seemingly been almost finalized, at least near completion, like with Tio and Boots. And what we see, or who do we think is going to win that fight, breaking down the odds and ends of how that fight would look and what would potentially be a very competitive title opportunity at 147 for Teofimo Lopez, as well as much more on the show, like with Tank Davis and the seemingly breaking of the norm, but we expect to see from the likes of Tank and him not working with Turki Al Sheik. Now all of a sudden everything seems to be up in arms, and the butter, at least his coach Calvin Ford, seems to be with them. He seems to be working with them, at least as he's opened up a youth camp or showing training camps on Turki Al Sheik social media, involving Calvin Ford training and helping the youth and children, which again is all great. But what does this mean for the bigger picture of Tank working with Turki and quote unquote kissing the ring, as has been so aptly said all across social media? All of that and much more on this show. We're going to talk about, if we got time, we can talk about the NBA playoffs, as the Western and Eastern Conference Finals are indeed now set. We got the Knicks and Pacers, oh yes, a rivalry of the generations, and the Wolves and OKC facing up against each other. Whoever wins those two will get trips to the finals. Oh, we're going to break down all the odds and ends of the sports right here with you. And thank you for tuning in to listen to the show. And again, if you're new here, please leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. Yes, indeed, we are growing fast and strong, and it's all thanks to you and your support that we are able to make this possible for this community to indeed thrive, shine, and grow continually. It's all thanks to you. We appreciate all of you. But again, with all that being said, we got sports to cover. We got boxing to discuss first and foremost. And since we're talking about boxing, oh, it's time to step into the ring. Yeah, buddy. Let's get it started. Round one going underway, as we got to talk about again a fight that has been seemingly or is seemingly close to finalization, and that is Boots versus Teofimo Lopez. Yes, indeed. It's here potentially, and not even potentially, I think it's almost set in stone concrete. Now, we had some conflicting reports. I will admit, we've had some conflicting reports. Excuse me. And hold on, before I get started, let me get back to what I know. Drinking some water. I can make sure that I'm in tip-top shape for this entire show. But we've had some conflicting reports about what exactly is going to take place between Boots and Tio, or anybody in Teofimo Lopez. Of course, as we know, Teofimo Lopez having the best performance of that whole New York card that happened earlier, last month. Not last month, I'm sorry, earlier this month, in a fight card that was very much lackadaisical and very much underwhelming. However, he did have the showcase bout of the night with him styling, profiling all over Arnold Barboza. But now he is seemingly moving up to 147. Now he's called out Boots. He's called out Terrence Crawford. I think he's called out Gervonta Davis too. So between that 140 and 147 weight class, this man has been looking for challenges. Now it seems to be that there are one name that has risen up to the top, and that is Boots Ennis. That's right, Boots, the current unified 147-pound champion, who is indeed, in my opinion, the best 147-pounder. I think collectively, everybody agrees he's the best 147-pounder in all of boxing. But now that that's the case, widely accepted, he's the man to meet. And with somebody like Teofimo Lopez, this is an interesting matchup. Now, why I said this was conflicting reports was because y'all have to understand there was rumors that we would see Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney potentially fight against each other. And my gosh, what talk about a absolute shocking development. If we got Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez happening at 147, that would be incredibly interesting. That would be incredibly I dare say that would have been bad for Devin Haney. Let's be completely honest. If we're going to be really serious, I'm not trying to mince words. I'm not trying to blow smoke, but let's be real. If Devin Haney did fight Teofimo Lopez, I don't think anybody would be picking Devin Haney to win that fight, or at least I can't speak for everybody. I'll say me. I wouldn't pick Devin Haney in the slightest to be able to win that fight because I think that Teofimo Lopez is a better fighter than Devin Haney in every single aspect. But again, that's a whole another conversation. Now, I am looking at Twitter right now, making sure that I have all my sources up to date, all my stuff going about with all the different reporters like The Ring Magazine, Mike Coppinger, and whoever else may be reporting on when fights may be made, because I want to make sure that if something does break, I want to be there for it. But as of right now, it seems to be that the lead runner to have this fight take place for Boots versus anybody would be Boots versus Tio at 147. So since we're here, or seemingly since we're here, let's talk about it. How do we think this fight would go, and what would really transpire with a potential win? Would it be an opportunity for Tio to get the upset on what looks to be the baddest man at 147 in the land, or would Boots do what Boots does best and absolutely roll through the likes of Teofimo Lopez? And this matchup is incredibly interesting because this is something, we're going to be real, this is something that Boots ain't been up against yet. Has not been up against yet, excuse me. Let's be honest. We have to keep this 100. Boots has not been up against somebody like this before in terms of Teofimo Lopez. This is not to discredit Boots Ennis. We understand what we're dealing with Tio. This isn't the Tio that we were saying isn't confident. This ain't the Tio that was getting beat by Sandor Martin. This ain't the Tio that was seemingly losing himself to the fame and fortune, along with personal life and boxing life. There was a bunch of stuff that was awry. Again, not trying to jump into that. Not trying to cast dispersion, but just calling it like it is. However, now, this Tio looks to be completely unique. Looks to be completely different. Looks to be the Tio that we all knew would be able to be successful in the world of boxing. And this Tio is a very multi-dimensional type of fighter. Oh yes, he is. This ain't just a 1-2 type of combination puncher. This man has got it all. Also, hold on, young Stevie, what's good with the? Hold up, I ain't even can see it. My bad. I'm so sorry. What's good with you? How you doing? Appreciate you tuning into the show. I'm glad that you're here. Leave a like on the stream if you're here. Share the show with everybody that you can. Hey, let's get the people in here. Some people might be late. Also, we had to start a little bit late because we had some technical difficulties. Hey, ain't that just the norm? Ain't that just the norm on this show? Ain't that, see, when it's a one-man crew, I got to figure out everything. So we had some stuff going around. But still, regardless of which, we're still going to give you the best show possible. And trust me, you're going to want to stay around because we got a lot to conversate. And whatever you wanted, I almost forgot to say, if you want to comment your thoughts and opinions, comment it right here. And we can bring it up on the chat. Yes, indeed. And we can talk, we can have a conversation, we can do whatever we want to do right here with you all. So we appreciate you and our support. Franklin Zana, what's good with you? How you doing? Appreciate you coming into the show. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that all of y'all are here. Y'all mean the world to me, and you all help make this show great. Again, we got a trickle effect of people coming in because we had to start late, because we had some stuff going on with my equipment. But regardless of which, once trust me, it's gonna pop off. It don't matter who comes to. 1, 2 don't matter. I appreciate everybody. It ain't about the volume, it's about the substance. So I hope we're gonna bring you some substance absolutely on this show. And I'm so excited for it. I understand the stream be difficult. Yeah, it can be. But hey, look, I've been doing it long enough. I ain't got no excuse. I gotta make sure I get this done right. Absolutely. But regardless of which, let's digress and get back to the meat and potatoes of the matter. When we look at Tio, this is Boots' most how do we say this? Teofimo Lopez would be Boots Ennis' most well-rounded opponent to date. He would be Boots' best opponent today, even better than Stanionis. Mind you, when we were on this show, we were looking and saying Stanionis was indeed the best fighter that Boots had faced in his career thus far. He was the litmus test for the likes of John Boots to come into form, to prove that he is indeed the best 147 pounder, the best welterweight in the world, objectively, rather than just having the claim of the best talent, but not proving against somebody and also not having the titles worthy. Yes, he was titled because he got the email championship, or he got emailed a title from the from the IBF that was who stripped the title from Terrence Crawford. When Terrence Crawford moved up to 154, he got the title by proxy of the belt commission giving it to him. Then he defended it, was successful. Then he defended it again and got a unified title against Stanionis. Just quick recollection of the timeline. But regardless of which, he proved himself. He showed his mettle. Did everything that we wanted him to do. Showed his power, showed his speed against a very competitive, dangerous Stanionis, who if anybody was going to give him some trouble, we thought it would be him. And he handled it with the greatest of ease, ending him in about 6 rounds with a body shot. Now that we have that the case, Tio, objectively, is the best opponent that Boots would have had faced in his entire career. There is no question. There is no debate. And it's because of what the skill set that Tio brings to the table. Let me see. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on Tio versus Boots. Well, hey, we're talking about that right now. Absolutely. And my thoughts on it is this is either going to be really good or this is going to be really bad. This is either going to be really good or really bad for Boots. Reason being, Boots Ennis has not faced somebody with the same level of skill, even a remotely similar level. Excuse me, I misspoke. Let me rephrase it. Boots has not faced somebody with a similar skill set and athletic ability as himself in his entire career. He's never done that before. Never. Yes, he's dominant. He's great. But somebody who has the same level of elite athletic talent, speed, instincts, power, footwork, and just raw ability, just innate in him. Nobody's been able to match Boots in that category. They haven't. We saw what he did against Roman Villa. We saw what he did against Stanionis. You saw what he's done against David Avenesian. In every showcase it's been, you can't beat me because I'm too big, because I'm too tough, or I'm too fast, and I'm too much of a freak of nature for you to handle me at all. I can fight in slow motion. I can fight in fast motion. I can change gears like I'm Kyrie Irving. It makes no sense, but it's what he does. Again, we've compared Boots to Lexi Ward Jones Jr. from the standpoint of the innate athletic talent on top of the skill set. It's a combination that we've seen only by the likes of Roy and maybe a very finite few of boxers in the history of the sport. But more specifically, it's most akin to the likes of what we would see from Roy Jones Jr. Not comparing him to the talent, but strictly in the look, the framework, the almost like it's unbelievable what you see from this butt. It comes naturally. It's free flowing. It's almost as if it's second nature to Boots Ennis. That's what we see when we look at Boots. Hence why we're comparing to Roy. But Tio, while we may not talk about it as much, what he's showing at 135 and at 140, now at 147, seemingly, though he's not on that same level athletically, I understand, it is still, he's one of the best athletic fighters in the game and is similar to Boots, having that great instinctual ability. He just gets it. We watched him. He just gets it. That's the reason why when he's at his best, he turns into Gordo Lopez. He's able to style and profile. He's able to box and fight. He can go to war. He can fight in the pocket. He's got a gas tank for days. Combination punch is phenomenal. Power, at least at 135, was great. At 140, maybe not as much. 147, who knows? Might be less, might be more. How the body reacts when you gain some weight, who knows? It's different for every person. But regardless of which, he is indeed on paper looking to be somebody that can give Boots a level of trouble that he's never had before, a level of similarity that he's never had to face before. I'm not saying that T.O. is Boots, but I'm saying there is some Boots in T.O. That's undeniable. Yes, T.O. is more accomplished. Yes, T.O. is for bigger names. That also bleeds into this whole conversation. T.O. has also fought people better than Boots has ever fought in his career and came out on top and fought them at their best. Let's not forget, this man fought and beat Lomachenko when Loma was the pound-for-pound best boxer in the world. Let's not forget that. That was in, 13 fights? That's about relatively early in his career. I remember when I was watching that. I remember where I was watching that fight. Shoot, Stevie, young Stevie, we were in college. I think when that fight happened, you were there. I believe you were there too. Or excuse me, no, I watched it by myself, but I think we were around each other. And it was this before I knew you were into boxing. But regardless of which, brother, I watched that whole thing. This man was able to beat Lomachenko. Well, Lomachenko seemed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was a genuine type of talent. Yes, he fell off and it has an up and down road. But the point is, at his best, at the best of best, we've seen this man be able to beat the best in the world. The experience being in the ring with a matrix level opponent, an elite Hall of Famer, somebody who is indeed a defining fighter of a generation. He's had that. He's seen what can work and what doesn't. He's seen what can work against him, against a master manipulator in Lomachenko. Boots has not faced somebody like that. Boots has not had that level of experience. Boots has not been in the ring with that type of monstrous skill level. Not to discredit him. I am saying this is what makes this fight so intriguing. Because while T.O. is moving up, and yes, we can have concerns about the consistency. What we can't overlook is that recently, the T.O. that we know is a phenomenal fighter seems to be the consistent T.O. And that T.O. can potentially give Boots a whole lot of problems, not just because of his boxing ability and experience, but because of the athletic framework that he has at his own disposal that is similar to what we have with Boots Ennis. I'm not saying it's as good, but I am saying that Boots has never faced somebody that is relatively close in any way, shape, or form to his level of physicality and athletic stand. More so not physicality, more so athletic ability. Couple that with, again, the experience and the actual talent that T.O. has in him, which is indeed elite. This could be an incredibly interesting and telling fight for the likes of T.O. and for the likes of Boots. More so for the likes of Boots than anything. Because we have to understand, T.O. has been tested against better opposition and came out on top. Boots, we're asking, when you get put up against that same level of competition, that elite level of competition, then what can you show? Yes, I'm not detracting what he's already proven. He is a proven fighter. Absolutely. But he's not proven on that level yet. But T.O. is. And now we have to start asking, that fight gets made, may not be that Boots is the end-all be-all from the standpoint of, is his fight to lose? Strictly because, while we know the advantages, which are absolutely abundant, it is the legitimate understanding of what T.O. can be at the highest of highs that can make this incredibly interesting, make this an incredibly exciting fight, potentially make this an upset that T.O. could actually win. But again, I want to hear from you, and I want to see what you all have to say on the whole of the matter. Yo, J Riggs, hold on, what you, how you doing? Hey, good to see you. J Riggs, what's up with, again, I still can't, your stuff still ain't showing up in the chat. I'm still trying to figure out why. We gonna figure it out one way or another. But again, I can see you. How you doing? Glad that you are here. Hey, what's up, preacher? You think T.O. has better timing? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, okay. Now that's interesting. Oh, that's a good talking point, boss. So before I get back to that, yo, Rusty Cage, what's good with you? How you doing? Glad I can hear. Thanks for tuning in to the show. What's up with you? How you doing? But let's see. You say so, J Riggs. You say that T.O. has better timing than Boots. Oh, that's See, I don't know if I agree with that because of what we saw Stanionis get done to him by Boots, with Boots being able to time him with uppercuts consistently every time he was trying to come in on the inside. It was like clockwork. It was just like clockwork. So I don't know if he's got better timing. Shoot, that's actually a good question. That's a really good question. I gotta think. That's actually a really good talking point. That could be a defining factor in this fight. T.O. has better, and you know what? I'll say this. But just in case I see, I'm about to answer your question. I'll say this. T.O. has, for now, because again, I want to study some more. For now, I'll say they have similar time. The ability to time each other, be able to land counters and all that stuff. They both have that ability, I think, at an elite level. When Boots wants to show it, he shows it. When Boots doesn't, he doesn't. That's the issue. But when he does, he's as good of a counterpuncher as the likes of Tio. More destructive, if I can be completely honest, at this stage in his career. But I'll say for the sake of conversation, they're equal. There should become to that point when better timing, it might just come down to athletic ability, because they both might see the same window of opening. Who can capitalize on it first? And that's where Boots may have the success, because while they're both similar in athletic ability, because their skill set both is phenomenal, it might just be the athletic separation that takes hold of what this fight's actually going to be. And so it might be that while Boots may have, arguably may have better time, but I'll say for the sake of argument, similar, at least equal. What Boots was, while Tio may have equal timing to Boots, the athletic ability of being able to actually land said timed shot or get out the way might be the very defining thing that makes this fight make a break. And that would be on the side, my estimation right now, of Boots in this. But it's not so far separated that all of a sudden, oh yeah, that's going to be the only thing that makes the fight. But again, that's just my humble opinion. But let me keep on seeing what people have to say. Young Stevie Facts, I understand you. And see, Rusty Cage, if the fight happening, I don't really want to see that, honestly. So, again, right now, the rumor mill is that it is nearing finalization. Now, there were two fights. I said this earlier. Nobody was here. I was talking to myself. I was talking to myself for a little bit because, again, we had some technical difficulties. I had to start late. Some people weren't able to see the show and all that stuff earlier. But now we here now. We're here now. I told y'all people going to come in. It's going to be exciting. Don't you just wait and see. I can man on my word. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. But now, so there are two fights that are in the rumor mill. One seems more valid than the other. Boots fighting Tio is the one that looks to be is actually going to happen, per what I'm reading. Boots versus Devin Haney is the other fight that's looking to potentially happen. But I don't think that fight has any real legs or standpoint to actually take place. Because again, Bill Haney's talking about that Devin Haney and Ryan, they're going to have their rematch in October and all that stuff. And if that's going to happen, then most likely Devin Haney ain't going to fight Teofimo Lopez. Now, I don't even think Devin Haney would want to fight Tio. If he really wants to be about being the well, actually, though we know he takes challenges. He does not run from smoke. Yes, as we talked about in the past. I don't think if he wants to capitalize or rather get back to being known and better respected in the boxing world after that performance he did against Jose Ramirez, I don't think it should be that he fights against Tio. Because Tio's going to beat him. Tio would beat him. This Tio beats this Devin Haney to Kingdom Come. Absolutely. So I don't think that fight's going to happen. More so, what looks to be more valid and more concrete is Devin Haney Teofimo Lopez versus Boots Ennis for Boots' unified title happening next, potentially. Now again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Absolutely. Nothing is outright confirmed. I'm only going off what I've been reading, researching, and looking at with the news, with reliable sources, trying to paint the picture together. If it does happen, then great. If it doesn't happen, shoot, we move on. Absolutely, we ride. Don't matter. We ride. And so, but honestly, I get you not wanting to see it. I want to see it because it's a very intriguing fight, and I want to see Boots face off against somebody that can do similar stuff to what Boots can do. And the closest one-to-one comparison between 147 and 140 would be Teal. And so, not saying he's going to win, but I'm saying it would be an interesting fight to see. Absolutely. So I'll be excited to see. But I can get your hesitation. But let's see. But we also, let's see, Jay Riggs. But we also seen how Teal did Loma on timing too. We did. And see, in fact, let me. What'd you say? Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Is this going to work? Is this going to work? Let me see. Yep, there we go. Okay. Yep, okay, here we go. So, JB, I think I found a solution for now. I can copy your stuff and put it on. JB, I can copy your stuff and put it on the screen. And so we can have that happen. In fact, let me do this to make it a little bit easier. Since while we're figuring out how to get your comments back up here, we'll do this for the sake of being able to bring up what you say, because you bring up some good points. You do. You really do. So what do this for now? Also, Jay Will, what's good with you? How you doing? Hey, good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Glad to get back. If you are here, leave a like on the stream. Comment whatever you want to comment on the show. Stay for the show. Let's get this watch time up. Hey, we're going to make this an enjoyable show. We're going to make this an interactive show. Absolutely. You're going to want to stay for as long as you can. And it gets me closer to monetization. Hey. Cha-ching. 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 I'm trying to make that dough, that goodie, that butter, that cheddar, that cheese. Oh, yes, we're trying to make some money, some moolah. We can work. And some of y'all been saying you want to do super chats. Well, if you stay around long enough, you might... If you stay long enough, you might help us get there. But no, I do this for the love. Yes, it's my job. I do this for the love. But again, if you can stay, leave a like on the stream and share it. It will help the show immensely. We're getting people coming into the show, push the show to the algorithm, making everybody want to see, hey, what's going on here. So appreciate you all tuning in. But again, Jay Riggs, you brought up a great point. Let me see. Well, actually, hold on. Before I bring up that point, let me get to everybody else's number. I'm going to click on your or paste your comment up here, because this is a good talking point to talk about. Let's see. I want to see Boots Unified 147 and move to 154. I completely understand. Like I said, the only reason why we said this earlier in the past, Boots, if you're going to stay at 147, keep to your word and go and fight and become undisputed. If you're going to say you want to become undisputed from 154 all the way to 168, then you got to do what you got to do. So we're still holding to that standard. Oh, absolutely. No question about it. Al Booger, what's good with you? Thanks for tuning into the show. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. So glad to see you all being here, absolutely. And let's see, Tio versus Boots, Tio versus Gary Antoine Russell, Tio versus Devin Haney. How would you rank these fights in order? What you would like to see? I would like to see, from my personal preference, competitively, Boots versus Tio, number 1. Then Tio versus Devin Haney, number 2. After that, Tio versus Antoine Russell, number 3. Tio versus Devin Haney, I got above Russell because now I want to see Devin Haney get tested one more time against somebody that is both Ryan Garcia and I don't say this as sacrilege, I say this as close to a comparison. Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko combined. The athletic physical ability of Ryan Garcia with the boxing ability of Lomachenko, though he's not as what he did beat him, but as a technical boxer, it's like he can match, usurp Devin Haney, and physically he can make it so Devin Haney can't run. I want to see what Devin Haney's going to be able to do against that more than anything, because what we saw last time was just horrible, terrible, absolutely despicable, utterly abysmal, a spit in the face of the sport. It was that whole weekend, but specifically Devin Haney and what William scolded. I want to see him get cornered. I want to see Devin Haney get cornered and be forced to have to fight like he did against Loma again. And this time, see what he can do against somebody who is athletically can, similar to Ryan Garcia, bully you like you bully other people and has the footwork and speed to keep up with you and got the power to put you out and can box with you if, dare I say, better than you. That's what I want to see Devin Haney go up against. I want to prove what you are. Because I've been seeing a bunch of conversations about this man being better than Sugar Ray Leonard, Durant, and all these other people from the history's past. From his father, Bill Haney, saying ain't nobody done this at 26 years old or whatever age he is. I ain't with that because he's been talking stupid. Bill Haney's been talking stupid from that standpoint, saying he's accomplished more than Sugar Ray Leonard. When Sugar Ray beat Benitez, I believe it was Wilfredo Benitez, Duran, and Hearns at a similar age and in less boxing years. It's ridiculous, but again, that's a whole nother it's a whole nother conversation. That's just it's I hate it. So if you're gonna have that talk, buddy, now you gotta go now you have to go and prove it against somebody that can validate that claim. So go fight Tio. That's why that would be my second fight. Boots versus Tio would be my first out of intrigue. Tio versus Devin out of proving grounds for Devin would be my second fight. And then Tio versus Antoine Russell, that would be my third fight of the three that I would want to see. But J Riggs, getting back to your comment. Also, we've seen how Tio did Loma on timing too. We have. Absolutely, we did. Oh, it was incredible. It was something I didn't expect to happen. He showed up and showed out. However, going up against Boots, the one thing that Boots has that Loma doesn't is height and boxing ability. Loma's boxing ability is sublime, second to none, absolutely. And what Tio did was incredible. However, this is a different fighter than Lomachenko. There's different advantages that he's got, like power and raw athletic ability, that Loma doesn't have, which is not a discredit, it's just a fact. And so his timing is going to be different in terms of its effectiveness and its overarching outright ability, because his attributes are different. He's longer. Dare I say, hand speed might be comparable, or at least it's enough to where, okay, yeah, this man can give you some trouble. Power-wise, he catches you, he can put you or damage you really quick. And he's got enough instinctual ability to take chances that Loma had to work harder to get. Not because Loma isn't great, but because Loma was a smaller fighter in every single one of his fights. Boots can do timing differently and potentially in a more damaging way because he can see it from a different angle and he can do it from a longer range and still be able to, if he needs to, close the gap and do work like he always does. And so that's why I'm not banking on the timing of Tio of Lomachenko being oh so grandiose going up against Boots, because the menace that Boots is as a fighter, both mentally and physically. And that's where it can get dangerous. It can get really dangerous for Tio. It can get really dangerous for Tio in a way that it wasn't as dangerous against Lomachenko. Not because of Lomachenko's lack of ability, but because of the other athletic abilities that Boots does have that Tio doesn't, or that Lomachenko did not. That's where it will be. I can't put Tio's timing as just, oh yeah, he can definitely do it against Boots as well, because it's a different fight, in my humble estimation. But let me see what people have to say thus far. I don't want to skip nobody. Don't want to skip nobody. Let me see. Let me make sure we good. It was to you. Trying to read. Tio beat. Did I read this right? Okay, yeah. Okay, Tio beat Loma at 135, Josh Elliott at 140. If he beats Boots at 147, that's three lineal titles. Yeah. This is, I think we have overlooked, I'm not gonna lie, I think we've overlooked Tio a little bit. Because let's be real, this man has been cleaning house everywhere he's gone. The lows have been incredibly low, and the highs have been incredibly high. And the roller coaster has made us look at him in a different light. But we got to also step back and remember, brother, when this man was on it, and when he is on it, he is cleaning the house with everybody that he goes up against. It's ridiculous. Top 10 pound for pound level contenders. He's cleaning out. He's cleaning them. Either knocking them out or beating them soundly. He's cleaning them. And so it's like we forget this man is one of the more accomplished boxers in all of the sport. With talent to boot. And he's entertaining. He's had some, he's been crazy. Can't deny. He's been acting insane. Especially with this racial stuff over the past couple months. Yes, he has. No question. And it's a problem, as we covered before. But strictly when it comes to the world of boxing and his talent, this man can give a whole bunch of people a whole lot of problems. And he's got the ability to move up and be successful well beyond where his quote unquote prime weight would be. And so I'm like, if he does pull this off, again, the fighting set in stone, I'm only saying the fight is the most likely to happen per what I'm reading. But if it did happen, and Boots did win, and Tio did win, shoot, that's legitimately insane. That would be ridiculous. That would genuinely be ridiculous if that took place. My gosh, that would be insane. Who said Devin better than Sugar Ray? Bill Haney. Bill Haney said that. Literally. Let me see if I can pull it up for you so you all can see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm not trying I'm not trying to hate or cause somebody to get some unnecessary level of drama. But his own, I believe it was his father going and talking about all of these successes that he's done in his career. Where's that? I know he said it. I'm trying to find the quote. I'm going to get it. Hold on. I'm going to get it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it because I know it was here. Hopefully it won't take me too long. But it was big. If I can't find it, go on Twitter. Just search Devin Haney and you'll see some of the rhetoric of what's been talked about. But people have been saying that Devin Haney is one of the most accomplished, was it 26, 20, how old is he, 26, 27-year-olds in history, however the world, old he is, and saying this man has gone through and beaten the likes of greats, Lomachenko and others, and he's more accomplished than the likes of Duran and the likes of Leonard at this age, and it's like, it makes no sense that these claims are being made of a brother who, if we're being completely honest, he's had some good highs, absolutely. But they ain't nowhere close to what we've seen other people. In fact, here it is. I got it. I got it right here. It was, come on, pull it up. Pull it up. Come on, do it. Don't have me scrolling for nothing. Doggone it. Shoot, I'm going to find it, but I'm not going to waste time. But either way, excuse me, it wasn't, I'm sorry, it wasn't. I got my sources wrong. It wasn't Bill Haney. It was a boxing fan page whose post got a lot of traction because of the statement of he's more accomplished than Duran at 26 years old, which, again, is a bold-faced lie. I can't find it. Sorry, I can't find it. Go on Twitter, search Devin Haney. You'll see the exact post I'm talking about. You'll see it. And you'll be able to find some people that follow it, some people that don't. But it's ridiculous. Let me see. Speaking of William Skull, guess who he's fighting? Who is William Skull fighting next? If anybody got any, hold on. He's fighting again? He's fighting again. I thought he would never get a shot at a ring. I thought the only ring he would get to be in was a bar fight or potentially in training, because that's all it's going to be in. He's fighting again? Against who? If you got the news, I ain't seen that, but I want to see who he's fighting again. If you got the scoop, as I quickly go through all of these chats, I do not want to. Let me make sure I'm not wasting time by going too far ahead. Oh, Celia Iglesias. Wait a minute. Hold on. is that fight next? Unless I'm wrong or unless I'm missing a different conversation. But whoever, shoot, I tell you what, I don't care who he's fighting. I ain't watching. That brother, he lost my money. I ain't never paying for that brother ever again. I promise you that. He stole my time and energy, and I will never get that back. Oh, you got one time. Never again. Never again. My gosh, that was a mistake that we will never, and I mean never, have graced our screens. William Skull will never be seen by my eyes. That ain't happening. Let me see, Rusty. I'm not mad if I don't ever see William Skull again. Yep, see, I'm serious. I would love to. It's Ocelli Iglesias. Good for him. Hey, do what you want. I ain't watching that. I ain't watching that fight at all. Oh shoot, I hope Iglesias smokes him. I hope so too. Iglesias looks like the real deal. Hey, if Iglesias goes through and beats William Skull, good on him. If William Skull does what he did against Canelo again, shoot, you might not be able to catch him. He'll beat him just off of landing. Iglesias will beat him off of landing one jab, and then have him just to stand in the corner. Because William Skull ain't gonna have no means of coming in on the inside or even engaging. I'm sorry, I can't stand. William Skull left a bad taste. I want him to lose every fight. I want him to lose every fight because what he showed me that night was so despicable, so abhorrent of what boxing's supposed to be. I forever gotta. I don't want to call myself a hater, but shoot, at this point, you ain't gonna see me rooting for the brother at all. At all, you ain't gonna see me rooting for that brother at all. Never. So Iglesias, get it done, brother. You did show yourself true in the amateurs, like Jay Will said. Get it done. Show why you were indeed such a hard fight for Madrimov to be able to beat. And the credit is due. Yes, this is a part of the reason why Madrimov is a good fighter and why people shouldn't be discrediting him, though he got beat by Virgil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford. The brother can fight for real. And beating somebody like Iglesias, hey, further proves the point. With how good Iglesias is, I want that brother to end Skull, please. Because I do not want to see this man in the ring ever again. Because he forever made an enemy out of me in watching that brother fight. Teal's comments have overshadowed his boxing prowess. He's had a very exciting career. He has. That's the issue. He has shot himself in the foot. I told you. I said it multiple times. Teal shot himself in the foot consistently with all this rhetoric, all of this baiting, all of this disrespectful, racist verbiage has discredited what he is as a fighter, which is he's a phenomenal fighter. But nobody cares. Because the outside antics that really steal the show in a negative light. And we forget, my gosh, this brother is one of the more accomplished boxers of this generation. But we don't care, because all we care about is what you be saying outside the ring, which is despicable. And so I told you, it's a problem. It is an incredible problem. Bill Haney still probably say, well, yeah, most likely he still did probably say that. And it's like Devin Haney fans are wild. They are. My gosh, they are. And it boggles my mind that we consistently have to sit and watch people defend the lack of substance that Devin Haney has done. From his career, he's accomplished. Absolutely. We've praised him in the past. We have. But him and other fandoms in the sport of boxing, Tank and others, they go so far out of their way to try to make their fighter seem to be something great, instead of just letting their talent be proven in the ring, that it makes them insufferable. And it makes the boxer really look like a fool. Even when he does accomplish good stuff, because now people only have to say, you think you're as good as X, Y, Z as a negative thing. Because his fans help dig the hate grave that everybody wants Devin Haney to be thrown into. And to a degree, Devin Haney also ain't been privy in getting away from that hate. Again, accepting the role of the villain. But it's his fans support him in a way that it's to some degree it's delusional. Because you are not valuing what should be valued in the sport of boxing. And really, it's about, like with other boxers, like with other fandoms, it's about the perfect image rather than the substance. A broken statue of a great man is better than a perfect statue of a man who hasn't accomplished nearly as much. It's the truth. A beat up statue of an all-time great is still better than a perfect statue of somebody that is good, but nowhere close to that other level. Because the scars don't just mean, oh, you lost. The chiseled imperfections don't hurt the statue. They give it character. They give it substance. They give it something to latch onto. They help tell the story. Perfection ain't just about you being perfect on a record. A boxing career can be perfect without it being perfect. Manny Pacquiao, perfect example. Ali, perfect example. George Foreman, perfect example. Roy Jones Jr. The losses don't hurt the legacy of the boxer. The losses tell the story of the adversity that they faced. But for everybody else, at least today, thankfully we're starting to get away from it. Perfection is the only means of greatness. And that's a bold-faced lie. We laud anyway because he's undefeated and he's taking on top competition every single time out. Even the people that are supposed to be quote-unquote bums or unknowns, like with Cardenas. When you look into actually what Cardenas has done, where he has fought up and down at, and also the fight that he put on that night, but he faced off against a killer. And if he had lost that fight, oh my gosh, it would have been an upset, absolutely. If he loses in the future, my gosh, I can't believe it. The monster has fallen. But that doesn't take away from the greatness that he done. It just adds to legacy. Oh my gosh, the monster, somebody who was unbeatable, got stopped. I can't believe it. What's he going to do to bounce back? It's never just about the O. The O means nothing if it ain't backed up by substance, consistent substance. If it ain't backed up by a constant ability to have yourself tested, the zero just means nothing. That's why I don't value perfection talk. Because most of the time, perfection just means you ain't been tested. Not that you've beaten all the proper tests. You have not been tested in yourself. And that's a problem. I don't rock with it. I don't rock with that at all. And let me see what people have to say. Yes, Welch, it's disgusting. If you are fighting Skull, better practice cardio. Yeah, see, you better be. Hayes' performance was equally disgusting in my eyes. Both of them were. It's all bad. There's no better or worse. It's all bad. They both did the same thing. And I think that's where people who support Devin Haney try to cut the mustard or get the separation. There is no separation. Devin Haney sucked on that night. William Stahl sucked on that night, and it was both for the same reasons, because both of them did not try to fight. And this, another perfect point. Talking about the we might as well go into the other, where's that thing? Is it other topics? Yeah, other sports news. Might as well, because we're just going off the rails with everything at this point. Devin Haney and William Skull are the very reason why this no running rule that I'm starting to see go pick up some traction in the world of boxing, it's picking up steam. That something needs to be done about people not wanting to engage in the fight. There is a difference in outboxing, being elusive, using your length and reach and not getting hit, versus running. There is a distinct difference. There's a distinct difference. There is an absolute line of demarcation between running and boxing, running and keeping yourself safe. There's a difference that people seem to get mixed up in. Oh, it's the sweet science. That's not the sweet science. Running away is not the sweet science of boxing. Hit and not get hit doesn't mean tap a brother and then run around the ring. Do the bare minimum. Hit and not getting hit is Willie Pep. Being able to be in the pocket and win around without getting touched. while you're in the line of danger. Being elusive. Napoleon Lachey was the beauty of hit and not getting hit. Floyd Mayweather was not running. That was hit and not get hit. That was sweet science. That was genuine ability. That was actual talent. And being able to box and come out, swim without getting wet. As we see commonly on other channels and on the show. Swim without getting wet. Jumping into the ocean. And not making a splash. You're able to you're going through the forest and you don't touch a leaf. That's what we mean when we talk about boxing. Devin Haney, that's not boxing. What we saw, that wasn't boxing. What we've seen in the past, what we saw against Paul Grace, that was boxing. What we saw against Lomachenko, that was boxing. What we saw against Kambosos, though there was a lot of clinching, that was a better description of boxing. Of the sweet science than what we're seeing with this ignorant mess, what we're seeing with this stupidity, this absolute dumpster fire of a fighting style that doesn't add anything of worth to the sport and to him. It is a bum type of sentiment that helps nobody, but makes everybody view you as a pain, an outright pain, and we hate it. We can't have this as the means to where the sport's going to go. Because if this keeps on happening, people are going to not want to watch. People will not want to see the sport. People will think they're wasting time, wasting money, wasting energy, wasting effort, wasting their resources on watching something that is not the sport that they grew up loving or want to get into loving. Yes, every fight ain't going to be a Rocky movie, but also every fight's got to be a fight. Every fight's got to be a fight. It can't just be this. Whatever this is, because this ain't working. This is horrible. This is objectively terrible. And it's just, it's such a pain. It's such a pain that this is where we're at right now in the sport. Like I said, every single time boxing moves up, when we get good fights, when we get consistency and big time cards, when we get more constant names getting added into the pot of competitive nature, when everything seems to be trending upwards for the rise of what the sport is supposed to be, something comes along and shoots the sport in the foot. Whether outside the ring or inside the ring, something comes along and shoots the sport in the foot. Whether it's robberies, judges' decisions, genuine cheating, corruption, and or now the boxers themselves not doing what they're supposed to do in the ring. It's not just about, that's why I always disagree with Shakur. The win is the most important thing. Yes, you want to win, but it's not the only thing. What is equally as important is how you win. If you win doing something that is seen as disrespectful, underhanded, and genuinely against not against the grain, against the identity of what the sport is supposed to be, then that's a problem. That negates the win that you got. Hence why we don't view Devin Haney as anything after what we saw against Jose Ramirez, because we saw that was not boxing. That wasn't even sparring. That was just you being as safe as you can be to be able to do nothing to jeopardize your future. That's the problem. That's not what this sport was built on, nor is that what this sport is supposed to be. That is objectively a falsehood that people are trying to identify with, and it's disgusting. Mayweather excessive clinching is not the sweet science. No, he did clinch. Absolutely, he did clinch. But genuinely go back and rewatch Mayweather, because it's been a good couple of years since he's been back in the ring. Go rewatch when he fought. It was beauty. It was grace. He would stand in the pocket consistently and beat you on the jab, change angle, force you to have to recover, but then still be in the same spot. He would use the ropes. Yes, he would. But it was ring generalship. And he would still beat you in your own range. If it ain't with power, it's with speed and time. countering ability, setting traps, understanding, baiting you to do what he wants you to do, and then frustrating you. It wasn't just what we see with Devin Haney now, or the uber clinch that we used to see with Devin Haney in the past. There is art in everything. There is art for. There is a proper way to do it, and there is an improper way. You can clinch somebody up, stop the momentum, but not do it at a point where it's overly excessive. You can use it to your advantage while still being able to be dominant and using the sweet science. Floyd Mayweather used the sweet science. He wasn't just a runner like everybody wanted to talk about him. He genuinely, this man was incredible as a fighter, as a boxer. I don't think he's the greatest ever. Absolutely not. But that doesn't mean I'm going to overlook what I saw him do, which was indeed exactly what we talk about now when it comes to the real essence of the sweet science. And so for me, it's like holding about 50 times in a round is illegal. He never got called out for it. Again, he wasn't holding 50 times in a round. And again, I get it. If I'm misremembering, woe on me. If you're misremembering, we all learn to grow, and we all learn to go back and look at the tape. All I can say is go back and look at the tape. Because what I remember watching with Floyd wasn't what is commonly described with Floyd. And I get it. Many people didn't like Floyd. Many people still don't like Floyd. I respect the talent, and I have my detractions, absolutely. But I also understand what the core of him was. From Pity Boy Floyd when he was knocking people out to when he broke his hands and genuinely had to change up his style, but still was having semblances of what he used to do with the Pretty Boy era, still being able to sit in the midst of danger and be successful. Sting you with counters, use that shoulder roll, do an uppercut, overhand hook, like he did against Miguel Cotto, like he did after he got hurt by Sugar Shane Mosley, like he did in the second fight with Castillo, second fight with Maidana. All these types of situations, again, Mayweather versus Manny was jab and clinch. That was one example. Absolutely. Now I remember that fight. I remember where I was when I watched that fight. That's one example, absolutely, of a fight that wasn't great, did not live up to the hype at all, and was, in fact, a product of Floyd fighting Pacquiao 5 years too late. Like I've said consistently on this show, if Manny Pacquiao had fought Floyd 5 years earlier, when he was still at the best of his own, yes, we know Floyd was older than Pacquiao. Yeah. But that still didn't change the fact that athletically they were both at different stages. And as a boxer, what Pacquiao had lost, which even at that stage, though he was still good, absolutely he was great. But if he had fought him in his real prime 5 to 6 years ago, I think he would have beat Mayweather. Because something Mayweather was doing in the ring that night, I don't think would have worked against what Pacquiao was at that point in time years early. But still, that was one instance of a fight that, yeah, ain't a good look. Absolutely ain't. But on the whole, that's not what Mayweather was as a fighter. And if you don't believe me, I completely understand. I respect your opinion. I disagree, but I respect it. But go back and look at some of the tapes. Specifically, Mosley versus Floyd. One of the biggest examples. You want to see him in danger, hurt, rocked, and showing what he can actually do? That's a perfect thing to go back and see, to look at what I'm trying to say. When we talk about why Floyd actually used the sweet science and Devin Haney did not, and potentially won't in the future because he's trying to do just the bare minimum to win after what we saw on the night with Jose Ramirez. But let me see what people have to say. Jason Radcliffe, yo, hey, how you doing? Albert Real, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Glad both of you all are here on the show. Let me see what Jason got to say first. Glad you're back. I'm not new, but Boots will. Glad you're back. I'm not new, but Boots will beat T.O. and bring the belts back to my city in Philly. Hey, look. If we, oh, I almost forgot. I didn't even get to make my pick for that fight. Shoot, hold on. I didn't even make my pick for who wins that fight. We've been talking about it all that the whole time. I didn't even get to pick who wins. I was, I think Boots does win. I think Boots wins that fight objectively. I totally do. I think Boots wins that fight. And it's because of the physical presence and the dominating power that I don't know. How do we say this? I'm interested because for everything that I said Tio can do with Boots, which, because again, similar, not as good, but similar in athletic ability and the expertise and boxing ability, it's right up there. It is. I'm not trying to hype somebody up. He deserves it. But I don't want to use the knockdown against Kambosos as a means to say, yeah, he won't be able to take the power. Because that was a while ago. I understand. He had stuff in his chest, all that stuff. Genuinely couldn't fight like him. Still lost. Absolutely. But I haven't seen him damaged. You know what I'm saying? Boots has the ability to damage him. Put him in a situation where he has to worry about what's coming back at him. Similar to Kambosos, but not off of just one punch for the entirety of the fight. He's got to worry. That's what I don't think he can overcome at this stage. The power that Boots will be able to do, coupled with the legitimate boxing ability that also is backed by athletic greatness. That's what Boots is. He's athletically one of the best athletes that the sport has to offer from everything from a physical standpoint. That is a recipe that I don't know if Boots can box his way to victory. Concretely. Potentially can get the upset. If anybody could do it from a standpoint of talent, moving up to 147, it would be him. Out of all the four, well, not kings, but all of the best at 140, Tio's the one that could actually pull that off. I don't think he would. And I think, yeah, he brings the title back and retains it, in my estimation. But if he did pull it off, my guy said it would be great. That would explain why Boots chose B Junior first. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I missed the comment. There we go. I haven't seen Boots fight a pound fighter. I put my money on Tio. Nobody ever beat Loma but Tio. Yeah, absolutely. And Tio and then afterwards, Devin Haney beat him, controversial decision, but regardless of which. And Tio excuse me, good gosh. Let me slow down. Haven't seen Boots fight a pound fighter. I put my money on Tio. Nobody ever beat Loma but Tio. Afterwards, Devin Haney beat him. And Tio got way better footwork than Boots. You're right. Tio just had better footwork than Boots. Had to think about it a little bit more. Tio's got better footwork than Boots. Tio has a similar offensive repertoire to Boots. But Boots, I think, has the better, more destructive offensive array. And Boots is not a person who's got bad footwork in his own right. Yes, we know he struggled against Carr and Sugar. Absolutely. No question. Let's also not forget that even with the struggles that we've seen against Carr twice, who was a fleet-footed, really angle-driven type fighter, he still won both of those fights clean. He still won both of those fights outright. Even when Sugar John did the better version of his first fight the second time around, when he started standing in the pocket, when he was using head movement in the midst of danger, when he was able to still use his feet, but also land on Ennis, Ennis still won that fight running away, though it was a very competitive affair. And it still showed some flaws. Even with those flaws, he still came out clean. Now, Tio's got more power than Sugar John. Absolutely. However, I don't know if he's got more power than Stanionis at 147. And so that brings into question, even if he's able to have that level of success, would we not be able to see, not on top of the technical ability that Boots has in his own way, would we then not also potentially see Boots do what he's done with others, though I don't like it, and walk through T.O.'s offense to land the power of his own and break down T.O. in his own right? Because we've seen him do it against David Avanesian. We saw him doing it against Karin Sugarjohn. We saw him somewhat do it against Stanionis, but more so Stanionis was the better technical affair that we've seen Boots do. Fighting off his back foot, using his jab, lulling Stanionis into combinations, landing that uppercut while on the back foot, consistently making Stanionis fall into attacks, countering and all that stuff. Everything that we say we want to see Boots do, he did against a very respectable and powerful opponent. So it's like I get it. I really do. T.O.'s got a great argument for why he can beat Boots. I just don't think it would be the case. And I think Boots would, in my opinion, would still beat him. But this is the litmus test that we want Boots to have from a technical perspective. Like I said before, if you weren't here at the start of the show, this is the closest thing that Boots has had to a relatively competitive physical matchup athletically. T.O. and Boots, both two of some of the most athletic and instinctual fighters that this game has to offer. That is undeniable. Boots has never faced somebody like that in his own domain. Now, going up against T.O., that would be the litmus test to see, okay, let's see what you're really about. And also T.O., that would be T.O.'s most physically demanding fight outright. This fight's more dangerous than Lomachenko. It's more dangerous because of who Boots is as a fighter. He's more destructive. The stuff that Loma was landing on you when he started taking over in round 6 and on, that stuff, it was damaging, absolutely. Boots does that same stuff, that puts your lights out. Boots gets that same level of momentum against T.O. that Loma did in the second half of the fight. He puts your lights out. He does. If Boots is able to get those same types of counters that Loma was landing on T.O., he gets hurt. He gets hurt bad. And we notice. If he gets this, I'm not using the Kambosos as a litmus test for T.O.'s chin, but if T.O. lands the same stuff that Kambosos landed on him, that's an indictment of potential doom for the likes of T.O. And so that's where it's like I get it. I just think T.O. at this point in time would lose unless we see something different. I think he would lose if they do fight, but it's a litmus test I need to see proven. I need to see it proven. That's why I want to see that fight happen, because there is a lot of ways that this can go. And all of them make for an exciting fight. So I definitely do want to see it. But let me see. Welch, do you think T.O. lost to either Sandor Martin or the Puerto Rican kid? He lost to Sandor Martin. Absolutely. He lost to Sandor Martin. Puerto Rican guy, he beat by the skin of his teeth. If it was called a draw, I wouldn't have a problem. But he lost the Puerto Rican, skin of his teeth. Sandor Martin, we talked about that fight on this show. He lost that fight. He absolutely lost that fight. You always speak logically along with your down-to-earth personality. It makes me go back and do more homework before I emotionally make decisions. Hey, see, hey, look, I'm just here to entertain. Hopefully I'm being friendly. Hopefully I'm making you laugh. We want this to be an enjoyable show. Absolutely. But like I'm the whole moniker of this show. You all deserve as much of an unbiased opinion as possible. Root for who you root for. Bring your fandom into the show. If you're a fanboy of somebody, if you're a huge supporter, bring it in. We love it. We don't discredit that ever. We want that same level of ire. I'm just here to be the voice to help bridge the gap between both sides of the coin so everybody gets the full picture. Because what we're trying to do is tell the full story of the sport. It ain't just about wins or losses. Sure, I got my favorites. I have my people I want to see win. Absolutely. Mark McCauley, one of them. I wish he had beat F.A. Ajagba so I could see that brother get a shot at the title just because I like to watch him fight. Anyway, My favorite fighter, absolutely. Boots, he's turning into one of my favorite fighters of this era in fighting. I love it. But my job, at least what we've set precedent on this show, is to make it so that we can have discussions, debates, and conversations where we ain't got no problem changing decisions. We ain't got no problem disagreeing. I want, like, you all to be fervent, be active, absolutely, and help it so that you can grow your knowledge in the sport, whether it's boxing or beyond. Because don't forget, we talk about basketball, we talk about football, we talk about it all on this show. Just primarily we talk about boxing because that's what you all love, absolutely. But I'm not saying I know more than people. I'm not saying I know less than people. I know what I know. I know more because I listen to people that know more. Go and do homework and listen to other people, other experts, other boxers, all that stuff. Eat the meat, spit out the bone to what is and isn't right, and help foster your knowledge, because when you get more knowledgeable, you become a better fan. Not from the standpoint of, oh, I'm just smarter. You understand contextually a lot more about what's going on, which helps you enjoy the sport on a deeper level. It helps enthrall your fandom, helps elevate your passion. Doesn't take away from you being a fan of somebody. It helps you be a fan of somebody because you understand better context of everything that goes into what that fighter or what the situation surrounding all of the sport and where he falls and where he or she falls into that timeline. And so it's great. So hopefully, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad you like what I say. And hopefully, I'll keep making you proud. Absolutely. Let's see. Yeah. This would be good for Boots. He needs to fight him, and hopefully it happens. Again, right now, it's speculative. Looks to be it's going to take place, but as of right now, that seems to be the most probable thing, that he would indeed go and fight Boots. Tio would go and fight Boots at 147. If stuff changes, in fact, let me check Twitter right now to make sure ain't nothing changed. Because if something's changed, my word, my gosh, as we know last time, we had more stuff can change in a heartbeat. Because I remember we had Bacoli replace Dubois live on this show, and I wasn't expecting it. We had we had a bunch of stuff take place on this show while I've been doing it. So let me make sure I'm keeping up. But again, we still got more to cover while we are covering the show. We do need to talk about also outside of Devin Haney. We still got more stuff on the show, like with Tank. Oh yeah, let's not forget Tank Davis. That's one of the biggest topics of this entire segment, of this entire night, because all of a sudden we've got some news that apparently Tank potentially is going to be working with Turki Al-Sheikh. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. The quote-unquote man who would never kiss the ring. All of a sudden, Calvin Ford's doing a whole vignette with him and Turki Al-Sheikh at his local boxing camp, training kids, helping kids, and showing what he does in his own abode to help essentially foster a better community, which is phenomenal. And I'm not trying to hate on the, I'm not trying to be to hate on the him doing it. But what does need to be said is this is big because it tells a story. Or rather, it puts a fork in the road now that people have been saying that Tank would never want to go and work with Turki Al-Sheikh. Tank doesn't need Turki Al-Sheikh's money. Tank doesn't need anything that Turki Al-Sheikh brings to the table when it comes to boxing, because Tank is Tank. Tank is the mogul, the money. He's the man. However, now, if I take some time and show this clip, you can very well see something may not be everything that we thought it would be.
Let's go into up and back.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Thinking of flat volume. Here we go. Okay. Trying to make sure I don't run into the same part about the last time. But hey, take a look if you're listening to the podcast. We're taking a clip at what Turki Al-Sheikh has posted on his own page, involving Calvin Ford, the coach of Tank Davis, and what he's doing in his camp.
1, 2, 3.
Landed in Upton Gym. Energy is crazy. Going to the boxing gym with an open mind, just to get in shape, to clear your mind. Boxing has actually healed you from a lot of frustration that you got on your mind. So in the words of that, don't sit still. Keep it moving.
Yeah, see, and there you go. And so again, this is good. Let's be clear. I'm not trying to detract and say that, oh, this is bad for anybody. It's great that we're seeing Calvin Ford go through and showing what he's doing in the community, showing what he's doing with the people, showing what he's doing with the kids, helping them. Again, boxing has been a great way out for a lot of people. It's helped change a lot of people. It is a phenomenal outlet for discipline, for strength, for you getting mentally and physically fit, determined and strong, fortified. It's a phenomenal thing. Absolutely. However, with this being, we got to look deeper. Everything that we were saying about Tank Davis, when it comes to Turki Al-Sheikh, nobody was going to be associated with Turkey in any way, shape, or form. Now that this is coming into light that, oh, Turkey's reposting what Calvin Ford is doing, which we have to also understand, that's not without the consent of both Calvin Ford and Tank and his camp. What that now signify that whatever relationship that we thought was going to be hurt, or rather wasn't even going to happen, when we look at Tank Davis and his beef that we've seen with Turki Al-Sheikh, all of a sudden that bridge is mended. Suddenly now everything seems to be all cordial and hunky-dory. And all of a sudden that all money ain't good money mentality doesn't seem to apply anymore. Hypothetically, you also got to understand. Before this, remember on the press conference of Zepeda versus Shakur and Berlanga versus Hamza Chavez, they were saying, or he called in and said, the ramifications for this fight, if Tank or if Shakur beats Zepeda, Shakur, we're looking to make a fight with Tank Davis. If Canelo Canelo will face off against then, whoever wins against Berlanga versus Hamza Chavez. And so he up front, he put up the parameter of what's going to happen. But depending on the results of this card, it's going to dictate what happens in the next card. But now we see that maybe this isn't just hearsay. This could be real. That, yeah, Shakur is going to face off against Tank on a Turkey undercard. Or not, a Turkey main event, excuse me. If we see Shakur beat Zepeda. And that there is something of a bridge that is indeed made with the likes of Tank and Turkey. Which I have been trying to say, I don't know why everybody keeps saying there's something underhanded going on with Turkey as a promoter. I'm not trying to ride, not trying to be a glazer, not trying to be objective, I'm trying to be real. When every single time we see this man go through and fight and be like a mogul, yes, he does his own thing, absolutely, in terms of Tank. But with Turkey, he's been making the fights we all have been saying we want to see and need to happen. He's exactly what we wanted to have in the era of a Tank Davis, because he would then force Tank to have to fight the people that we've been saying he needs to fight, because the money's too big and the fights are too much of a legacy and they're right in front of you. So you're avoiding it with everything seemingly going in your favor of everything that you would want from a financial and build standpoint. It wouldn't make any sense as to why you wouldn't want to do that. Now he talked all this stuff about how he would never do it, but now his own coach is seemingly okay with something with Turkey, because it wouldn't be on his page if it wasn't. I think that we can say at least a little bit, with a little bit of certainty, that in the future we could see Tank and Turkey working together on a mega fight. We could see it happen. And no longer that I don't need Turkey mentality, that ain't rocking no more. I don't need the money. That ain't rocking no more. Because you said you would never do anything with him. But if Calvin Ford is your best person, I mean your best, tightest brother, in all the camp that you've been together, he grew up with you, he trained you, he helped you. I think he housed him also. And he's rocking with Tank, or he's rocking with Turkey now. That would have to mean that Tank is also in line with the two. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying now, just like I've been saying all this time, there is a deeper thing than just, oh, I don't need the money. The money is too big for you and the legacy is too much for you, and it's everything that as boxers you want. So it's not kissing the ring. You working with Turkey. It's not you bending the knee if you work with Turkey Al Sheikh. It's you getting into the fire of what we've been asking boxing to be. If you the best, prove you the best against the best and get paid for it. We keep complaining about people making too much money. Well, if you don't put up a good performance on Turkey card, you don't get respect. You'll get a payday, and that would be it. And if you want to move up, you got to prove that you can move up. And so it's like, you got to, no longer do we need to have this sentiment of tribalistic mentality between promoters and fighters. When the best thing is, we just want to make the fights happen. And we need to make the fights happen. Now, thankfully, Tank is seemingly getting on that train as well. And if he does, that means almost assuredly, if we see Shakur beat Zepeda, we get Tank versus Shakur, which is all we've been asking for. That's all I can want. That's all I'm excited for. Basically, play for Martin McCauley, his country, the Congo, which is fighting a horrible civil war. If that's what you call it. I think, oh shoot, is that happening? I did not know that was happening. If that is happening, my gosh, yeah, prayers out to him. Hopefully everything is safe and everything is comes out good. Again, I don't know all the details, but again, any bloodshed is bad bloodshed, and if it is a civil war, that means there's some unrest with the people. So hopefully, prayerfully, everything works out appropriately. And yeah, we pray for the sake of everybody over there. Absolutely, no question about it. Absolutely. Oh, that's terrible. That's horrible. And hopefully, his fight, just like with Usyk in Ukraine, Bakoli fighting and being a beacon for his country and his people, also can help send money to help the country as a whole. And just like with Usyk, doing more, you're able to support more outside of the war by fighting in the ring than you would be in the war, because of all the stuff that you're able to bring in to the country with you being outside in the sport. And so hopefully, again, prayerfully, everything works out great. But again, I think that's everything that we got to cover right now. So I think we can go into right now, real briskly, the championship rounds. Yeah, I think we can do it. Championship rounds. Let's jump into it right now. Hey, let's get it started. Yes, sir. It's time to go. It's time to show what you know. Talk about whatever you want on the show, whether it's boxing, football, basketball, sports, NBA, NFL, whatever the case it may be. We all for it, absolutely. And we can talk about it. Also, I think one second. Hold on. I'm going to put y'all on hold real quick. Don't go anywhere. Give me 1 minute. I need to put y'all on hold real quick. We're going to be right back. Give me 1 second. I need to handle something real quick. Just got a notification. Let me leave for a hot second. Just a hot second. Don't go anywhere. And I'll be right back, and we're going to do the championship rounds right here, right now. Don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are. We're going to be right back right here on the Welch Report in 1 minute, roughly. So please, don't go anywhere. Do not leave. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. Here we go. All right, I'm back. Hey, how you doing? So sorry. Had to handle something real quick, and I was not trying to break up the flow of the show. But again, like we said, we're back on the World Report, and we still are in the championship round as we just got started. So again, make the show your own. Go for what you know. And I want to hear your thoughts, your comments, and opinions on whatever you want to discuss in the world of sports or beyond. If I can talk about it, I can talk about it. If not, well, hey, we'll be out of luck, and we'll just have to do what we do. But regardless of which, I'm all here for your questions, your comments, your debates, everything you want to discuss in the world of sports. And while you're getting your questions together, we got some NBA action that we do need to discuss. Let's not forget, we got some NBA fans out here in the world of the Welch Report, and we have now the Eastern Western Conference Finals are now set for action, as the Timberwolves will face off against the OKC Thunder, who beat the Jokic-led Nuggets in 7 games. What was a very competitive, hot action series with, ironically enough, OKC making adjustments and going and being able to dominate Jokic in Game 7 in what looks to be, people going to be saying if Jokic wins MVP, he's a fraud. If he doesn't win MVP, then it's deserved because SGA, ironically enough, the MVP award still has not been announced, which is very much confusing when it normally should be announced, first or second round, normally, on average. So this is, it's maybe votes ain't all in yet, I don't know. But regardless of which, we are sitting in a real competitive series that, honestly, we've seen the Timberwolves get the better of in the first, or in the regular season, against OKC. So now, SGA versus Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man himself, one of the biggest rising stars in all of basketball. This is going to be one of the best series to watch, but it won't be the best series. No, sir. No, sir. Because that will go to the vaunted rivalry that's spanned over 20 years. The Pacers and the Knicks. That's right. The Knicks are back. The Knicks are back in the Western Conference Finals. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? The Knicks. Orange and blue skies. Oh, yes, indeed. New York. New York is back in town. Have you heard the news? Ain't it great that New York City's back on top, seemingly back on top, and is one series away from what would be the biggest monumental event that that city has seen in over, 25 years? Getting to the NBA Finals. Would have won it, if they do win it, first time since 72, 73, or maybe 79. One of those years. Either way, I know they won it twice in the 70s. This would be so spectacular. And it would burn that city to the ground if they just got there, let alone win it. Let me tell you something right now. If we do see the New York Knicks win a championship this year, we're going to see New York City cease to exist. There will be, we're going to, that's what's going to happen. We are going to see this team, if they just make it to the finals, I promise you, if they just make it to the finals to get past the Indian and the Patriots of all teams, even if they don't win it, all 5 boroughs, all of them are gone. Harlem, Queens, all of them gone. They're going to be destroyed. They're going to be put out the pasture. They will cease to exist. At least a portion of upper or lower Manhattan will be gone. If they win the title, if they win it, if they win it, it will be nothing short of pandemonium. The island of the city of New York will break off of the country and sail adrift into its own domain and just cease to be part of America. I promise you, it will be that ruckus. We will have Gotham be the entire city of New York, Manhattan, gone away, Times Square burned asunder. There will be no city. It will be a vestige of what used to be. If we do see the Knicks win this, it will be so monumental that honestly, I want to see it happen just because. The fandom has been waiting 20 plus years. Some people have been waiting longer than that to get a title in their midst. They've been cut short so many times. Lost to Indiana off a finger roll to Patrick Ewing. Got to the finals, still lost with Patrick Ewing. Has had great teams like with Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, and all of them. Couldn't make it. Lynn Sanity couldn't do it. They've sucked for who knows how long. They've struggled with James Dolan. They've struggled with not Mark Jackson, Phil Jackson. As owners and GMs who did not know a thing to do with anything. All of a sudden, from the vestiges of despair, they have turned into a genuine powerhouse. They turned into a genuine, well-oiled machine, led by Tom Thibodeau, Tibbs himself, who will run you into the grave if it means getting a championship. I mean, he will not rest anybody for anybody. It is, this series between Indiana and the Knicks, it's literally pace and space versus grit and grind. It's fast break versus we will run you into the dirt. That's what it is. Toughness and stamina versus speed and agility. That's how the Pacers play. They play fast. They play quick. They play trying to. It's a track meet every time. Led by Tyrese Halliburton, they will run you ragged and get 20 points on you before you know what happened. They'll turn a 10-point deficit into a 20-point lead in a matter of in a quarter. We saw them do it against the likes of Cleveland, the best team in the NBA, which boggled my mind. I couldn't believe it. What Donovan Mitchell playing out of his soul, being absolutely incredible for the series, for the majority of it. And they still get beat like that. It's just that team is so horrifying to watch. Horrifying to face off against. There's a reason why Celtics fans were saying, yo, look out for Indiana. Shoot. If the Celtics had beaten the Knicks, they were losing to Indiana. If they faced off against it without Jason Tatum. Now, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be really interesting. Because this is going to test the real limits of what the Knicks can do with how they normally play hard and also with that grittiness and toughness and with their starters not resting almost all the time. Miles Bridges playing 50 minutes a game. Ooh, it's going to be interesting to see how he holds up. I want it to happen. I want to see it succeed. But my gosh, it's going to be something. It's going to be something to behold. Couple that with the rivalry that whole series is going to be. With the likes of Brunson and Halliburton being the modern day Ewing and Reggie Miller. Though, again, both point guards. But in terms of the faces of the franchise, going at it with Reggie Miller calling the game for the entirety of the series, because it's all going to be on TNT. Oh, it's going to be a blast. Oh, it's going to be incredible. Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. I hope and pray that the Knicks win this series in 6. I hope they win it in 6. They're getting blown out in one game. They're getting blown out in at least one game. The Knicks are getting blown out in at least one. And they're going to lose 2, assuredly. Because this Patriots squad, they'll put up 120. They'll put up 120 before you get to 80. Oh, they'll do it. They'll do it. And they'll do it quick and in a hurry. But if they can weather the storm, what's going to be at least one game of sheer domination, potentially 2. I think, when it gets down to crunch time, they can close the show better than Indiana, especially with Jalen Brunson. And they will be able to, if nobody gets injured, take this team out and get to the finals. And if so, my gosh, I'll be completely happy. I'll be so excited. I'll be so happy. But again, I can't wait for it. I believe is the game today. Just as we real quickly go through and check the schedule, because I want to make sure that I'm also not missing out on this too. Is it today? Do the conference finals start today? The conference finals start. Yes, they do. They start today. Yep. They start today. 8:30 tonight on ESPN. It's going to be Minnesota versus OKC first, and then afterwards, next day, not Timberwolves. Pacers versus Knicks. Road to the title is heating up. It's getting ready to get to a climax right here, right now, and I'm all here for it. But hey, that's just my meat and potatoes on it all. Quick breakdown on it. Again, it's still the championship rounds. If anybody has any more questions on what they want to talk about, whatever we talked about earlier in the show, boxing, basketball, don't matter. We can discuss it. But if not, let me wrap it up and get out of here. I think it's been a very productive show. Though we started late, it was very well. And I think we're going to get out of here. So if nobody else says anything they want to say or anything they want to ask, I think we're going to wrap it up and send it home. So with all that being said, This has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show. Remember, rate us 5 stars on your podcasting platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can get your podcasts, where you can listen to us anywhere on the go. Episodes will be uploaded shortly after the air right here on YouTube. Leave a like on the stream before you leave if you haven't already. Comment your thoughts and opinions on how much you like the show in the comments down below. Share the show with everybody. Share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. And please, leave a like, comment, thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. And subscribe. And subscribe. But with all that being said, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. We're going to see you all on Thursday. Peace and love. How we are out of here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all a day from now? 2 days from now? Thursday. We're going to see you all on Thursday.